Hello everybody, today we're going to make some really adorable stud earrings and dangle earrings using dried flowers and UV resin. So here's some new dried flowers I got from a new seller on Amazon, and it comes in these packs and they're just full of flowers. Like, I could do so many different projects and make so many different earrings just from this one pack of flowers. And they're really pretty and it smells so good. You can tell they're real dried flowers. And there's some different options that I wanted to try today. I love these spiky ones. There was just so many things going through my mind as I opened up these flowers, because there's just so many ideas and so many different styles you could make. So for the first one, I wanted to just tear up these flower petals because they were in a big bunch and I wanted to use them for a small pair of earrings. So I'm just tearing off the little petals, just in tiny little pieces. I also have a new Valentine's Day mold. Look how cute this is. There's so many different sizes. The first two I'm using as a stud size, and that third row up we're going to use for a couple pairs of dangle earrings. So I'm going to go ahead and put the UV resin into the mold, but I'm not going to fill it completely all the way up, because once you put some flowers in it, it could overflow the mold. So just about maybe 3/4 of the way full. And so those flowers that I tore up, I'm going to take a toothpick and just put those directly into the mold. And if you're in front of a window like I am, you have to work quick, because when you're using UV resin, the sun will cure your resin faster. And then I'm going to put in some little tiny pieces of gold foil. And now these little buds, I'm going to tear them off into individual pieces, but some of them will be in a bunch, like a couple at a time. But for the most, it'll just be individual pieces. I was really excited about these because I could just think of so many ways to use them. So for this one, we're actually just going to put a whole bunch of them into the mold. And I use these again in a dangle earring up top. And then once you have both of your pairs for your earring filled up, we're going to actually add some gold foil into this one as well. So what I like to do is just you'll see me rolling around the gold foil and breaking it into pieces. And that's going to make it smaller and more compact when I'm doing a smaller earring like this. And a lot of times it's hard to get the gold foil off your toothpick, which is why you'll see me rolling my toothpick trying to get that gold foil loose. So this spiky flower, I was also pretty excited about it. I'm not sure the name of this flower, but I was excited to use it because I knew it would look neat in an earring. So I'm actually tearing them in half since we're doing it in a small earring. And I'm just going to tear them into pieces. And now you'll take your UV resin and just put it directly in like we did the other earrings. I had a couple of those nettles that had fallen, and I was putting them in there. I'm just going to fill them until I get a good amount in there, pretty much covered, except there's a few holes. And I'm going to make 4 earrings like this, so 2 pairs. And then I'm going to put some gold foil like the other. See how I'm rolling that to get that gold foil where it won't stick to my toothpick as much. And I'm just going to put some pieces, some big and little, throughout that. I usually, typically, when I'm using UV resin, like to leave spots where you can actually see through it. So when you're holding it, the sun could be shown through it. That way, you know your UV resin will cure. So I'm going to actually put full flowers in this one. These are small. I'm going to take a couple of the big ones and put in there. So these are also really pretty when you leave them in a bunch with the stems. There's another video of mine where I'm using a bezel, and I just cut off part of the stem with the flower. You can find that on my channel, and those also make such a pretty earring. So very carefully push these down, because if you do it too fast, you could very easily make a air bubble underneath it, which wouldn't be fun, because the bottom of this mold is the front of your earring. And then I'm going to go ahead and add some gold foil into this as well. If you hear kids screaming in the background, that's because my kids are outside having a blast in the snow, like sledding and just having the time of their lives with our neighbors' kids as well. They're all having so much fun. I'll show you a video of the end of when the snow started, but now we've got like 8 inches out there and ice too. So I'm gonna take these full flowers and put them right into the corner of the heart. Now this is gonna be dangle earrings because they're bigger. They're too big for a stud. I'm also gonna take some of those little buds and add those in there. Trying to get them apart. And that way, I actually am going to add a lot of these in there. This is one of my favorite pairs, actually, this dangle that we're doing right now. I just love how they turned out. I love the pink colors as well. When you're pushing these really delicate flowers in, I like to push it directly from the middle. And when I do that, I'm going to make sure not to touch the petals. It'll bruise or tear so easily. I've done that on a lot of my flowers I've been using. So you take your gold foil and you put it just in just little pieces throughout. And some of them are a little bit bigger, but just however you want to do it, really. Make it your own. See how I can't get that off the toothpick? So once you're done with that, we're going to move on to the last pair we're going to make. This is another dangle earring. And I had that red long flower stem. And so what I did is I cut it, and this was still too long, so I cut it some more. And then I just pushed it down into the resin very carefully. Some of these petals where I cut it were actually trying to come loose too, so you can get those out of there. And just push down the full thing in there. And then I just kept it easy and took some big clumps of this gold foil and added it in. And then put it under the UV light for 3 minutes, turn it around and hit the front of them for about 2 to 3 minutes, and that's going to make sure you don't have any resin residue when you pull it out. Look, I think this is my favorite one of the bunch. I love this one. You can turn that into a dangle, and then this one is also a dangle. And then the rest of these are going to be studs. Some of them will be a large stud and some of them will be a small stud. I love how those purple nettles came out. I don't know what kind of flower. If you know what kind of flower that is, let me know in the comments. And then this are the ones where we use those full small flowers. This is where we tore up the flowers into little pieces. And the last one, that's the little buds with the gold foil. I love how that one turned out too. And so the next step is we're going to finish off the backs of these. So this is the dangle. It's the bigger one. We're going to dome the back just to make sure, especially because those pieces of those flowers could be sticking up where it was kind of all put in at once. So we're just going to make sure all that's nice and smooth back there and just dome the edges. Put it under the UV light for 3 minutes. If I was you, I would go ahead and do both at the same time to save you some time. Oh, and then sometimes when you're doing that, you'll get some bubbles. So just pop your bubbles with your lighter. Hey, girls, I'm doing a video. So then go ahead and put a little dot of your UV resin right here. And then you're going to take your bell and you're going to slide it right in the middle, just like that. I actually have to get more of these. For my last video, I forgot that I was almost out. I have to order more. And I have to order more jump rings that are bigger for it too. So that's what it was look like because I ran out. So I was just going to show you what it looked like as a dangle. You'll want your earring hook to match. And now for these studs, we're going to take some UV resin and put the stud. You dip it and just lay it on there. I'm going to do all of these at once. But if you're uncomfortable with that, like if you're a beginner, just do like 1 or 2 at a time until you get used to it. Because I'll show you, if you look at the bottom left one I'm about to put on, you'll see it slide out of place. And that is why it's harder to do all these at once because they won't stay. So if you are going to try to do them all at once like I am, just make sure you go back through and adjust them to the middle and then really quickly hit it with the UV light. That way you get them in the place that they need to be, which is, you'll see me do that in just a second. I left this part in just specifically to tell you that. So see how I'm moving this back? And you want to do it really quickly, make sure they're all centered. And they will move so much just because they want to slide. Once you do that, hurry up and click the UV Resin Light real fast and then leave that on for maybe a minute because you're going to do the doming on the back. What this step does is it's really going to cover the back of that stud and it's going to make the back look nice and professional, but it's also going to make sure that stud is not going anywhere. It's not going to move. It's not going to come off. it's going to be stuck on there. And just dome the whole edges. And you can do that to each one as long as you know that you're not going to overflow the edges. You can do that to all of them and then put them under the UV light at once. And once you have them all done, put it under the UV light for about 3 minutes just to make sure they're extra cured. If it's tacky at all on the back, just put it under the light for another minute. This is the larger size stud. So since it's so bigger, you can see that my back is bigger, the stud back, and I used the bigger one in the pack because I get them in a pack. And then you'll just dome the edges just like the little ones. But they're a little bit easier because they're bigger. Also, if you need any of these items that I am showing you, or you want to know where I got them, it's all in the description of my video. And I link everything that I use in there. The mold, the resin, the backs, everything is on there. So once you do that, do the same thing. Put it under your UV light. So here's what it looks like with the bails on. I wish I could show you an actual finished earring. I really need to order that stuff, and I'll probably do that as soon as I get off this video. And look how pretty these will be once I get them finished. I love them so much. They're my favorite. Tell me which ones are your favorite in the comments. It helps, your comments also really help my video get shown to more people, which is super helpful to me. Look at these pretty nettles. Aren't those pretty? I love how that turned out. So these are our Valentine's themed hearts. I'm going to use this mold again before Valentine's Day because I have some more ideas. They're just so pretty and I love them. I also need to take some of these to my shop because they need some Valentine's Day earrings there. So if you look how the gold foil just kind of makes that stand out, that's why I practically use it in everything I do. But it also is helping all of these earrings have a cohesive theme, and it just looks like they go together, which I love. So for the studs, I'm just going to use this little display card, and I'm going to do singles for these. And this is the bigger stud. And then I have this box of clear backs that I'm just going to use for these. I prefer the clear backs over the metal ones. What do you guys think? Do you prefer the metal or the clear backs? For some reason, the metal backs just irritate my ears, so I like to use the clear. So here's some finished products, and you can tell the smaller one compared to the larger stud, the size difference, but they're both really pretty. I like them both. Here's the finished product. So I really do love how these turned out. Please let me know what you think. I have a ton more videos like this on my channel. So many different ideas using epoxy resin and UV resin and some other things in between. So let me know what you think. And at the end of this video, I have some showing you some of my snow. I did it out of the back of my house. So you can see how much snow is on the trees and the ice is already bending those limbs down. This was at the start of the snow. Now we have 8 inches at least, and we got a ½ inch of ice. Have a great day.